Okay, so this is the first in the series, 2024 monetary policy, fiscal policy, supply side policy, and then we'll look at the four main government objectives. Okay, so monetary policy up here, we have conventional monetary policy, which is interest rates and exchange rates. Interest rates are now at 5.25% as I speak towards the end of February 2024. Obviously, consumption will go down, it's more expensive to borrow money. Investment will go down, it's more expensive to borrow money. House prices will go down, it's more expensive to borrow money. And also, hopefully, the value of the exchange rate will go up because hot money is going to come into the UK. That will increase the demand for sterling. That will therefore mean higher export prices, lower import prices. If this occurs, in theory, what should happen? Exports will fall and imports will rise. This will lead to a decrease in aggregate demand. At the same time, the major benefit is that import prices will go down. Immediately, straight away, this will shift the SRES to the right and we'll get less cost push inflation. Okay, so this is monetary policy on here. Unconventional monetary policy is forward guidance, credit easing and QE. Forward guidance is where we say that interest rates will be low for a period of time, or interest rates right now will be much higher than they were before. Therefore, we're telling the markets what is going on. Credit easing is when it makes it easier for firms to borrow off banks, because firms will borrow off the banks and the Bank of England will safeguard that loan. So therefore, banks are more likely to lend out to businesses and also QE. So the reason why we had QE was because low interest rates may not necessarily increase aggregate demand in the economy. So we have another weapon which is using QE, which is also meant to increase AD. Obviously, we used this during 2009. So you have the QE transmission mechanism, which QE, in 2009 we used it. We brought bonds off the banks, so therefore the bond price went up. The coupon stays the same. This means the yield goes down. The yield goes down. This means the long-term rate of interest goes down. Therefore, it's cheaper to buy a house. Banks have more cash. Asset prices will go up. Expectations will be higher that we're going to be lending out more money. The fear of that is NV equals PT, which was the increase in money supply. That leads to inflation. Right, during this period of time, so with low interest rates from 2009 to 2022, they were roughly at 0.5% during most of that period of time. They did get down to 0.1% at the end during COVID. But in 2024, the interest rate is now 5.25%. Why? Because we've got a zero output gap. Why? Because of the threat of demand pull inflation. The effects of low interest rates, okay, it's all about increasing aggregate demand. However, house prices will go up, increases in inequality, may sow the seeds of a future financial crash. Then we got the Bank of England, three objectives. The big one is price stability. They're also interested in growth and they also want financial stability. So they have three tasks to do. Right. And we also have the Financial Policy Committee. Can you remember that one that looks at the whole macro system? And if the money supply is increasing too quickly, then they will start to put the brakes on. High interest rates. It is a bit of a blunt tool, particularly in the UK, where you have 400% of personal debt. Therefore, increased interest rates. This could create a house price crash, which could create another financial bubble. Do we want to have a high exchange rate anyway when we already have a very large trade deficit, which is 6% of GDP? And then this could create a recession. Okay. And then I spent a lot of time, are high interest rates the best way to solve inflation? Then we go through the transmission mechanism here. Fall in C, fall in I, fall in house prices, exchange rate goes up, just what we've done previously. However, maybe this is a bit of a blunt tool because it could create a financial crash. Maybe supply side is better. Maybe we can use higher income tax because then there's no exchange rate effect. That will also decrease demand in the economy. Or we can use monetary policy to move out of a recession. Yeah, decrease interest rate, decrease the exchange rate, plus the use of QE. Or how can you improve your balance of payments? We can decrease interest rates to decrease the exchange rate. Or how can you reduce unemployment? We can decrease the interest rate again. If there's demand efficient unemployment, like in 2009, we can use low interest rates again. But please remember that monetary policy is not monetarism. They are different things. Monetarism is about the free market. Monetarists also believe in NV equals PT and the natural rate of unemployment. Okay, so there's lots of different essays on here, where we can bring in monetary policy. How is the exchange rate determined? Remember all of this, spent a lot of time going through this. Okay, in the UK, our imports are greater than our exports, which means the supply curve will move to the right. Or if you have a low interest rate, hot money flows abroad, interest rate starts falling, decreasing the exchange rate, therefore export price fall, import price rises, sell more exports. Hopefully then that will solve the trade deficit problem, but it also leads to an increase in AD because we're now selling more exports, all right? But also exactly the same argument, if we have a trade deficit in the UK, imports are greater than exports, therefore the supply of sterling is stronger, the supply curve will move to the right. This will mean that the exchange rate will fall, the balance of payments should improve again, as above here. If the exchange rate goes down and the Marshall equation holds, which is the sum of export and import elasticity are greater than 1, then the balance of payments will improve. And then we have the J-curve effect, which is after 18 months, the Marshall-Lerner equation does hold, therefore the balance of payments will improve. All right, so when you lower interest rates, there's a lot in there. The consumption bit, the investment bit, and the house price bit is really easy to understand, obviously. It's the exchange rate bit and that transmission mechanism which is more difficult. Okay, next up we are going to do fiscal policy. Thank you.